So after a 5-1 win over Southampton in midweek, Chelsea are now second in the Premier League table and leading many to question whether Enzo Maresca's team are genuine title contenders this season. The most obvious thing about this Chelsea team is that they continue to score goals at a remarkable rate, but the most important thing to note is that they're not relying on any single player. Without a doubt, Cole Palmer is obviously the most important player, and his goals and assists do account for 49% of Chelsea's goals in the Premier League this season. But when we take a look at how he compares to other players in the Premier League, we can see that Liverpool and Arsenal are far more reliant on Mohamed Salah and Bukayo Saka's goals and assists respectively, while Erling Haaland remains Manchester City's only real source of goals. What's important to note here is that Liverpool have no replacement for Salah, Arsenal have no shoe-in for Saka if he was to pick up an injury, and Manchester City certainly couldn't afford to lose Haaland up front. But Chelsea do have some serious firepower on the bench in the likes of Christopher Nkunku, Pedro Neto and João Felix if Palmer had to step out of that team for an extended period of time. One area that Maresca's team would have to improve on if they were serious title contenders is their head-to-head against other top four sides, as we saw in the 2-0 defeat to Manchester City and the 2-1 defeat to Liverpool earlier in the season. However, they did pick up an important 1-1 draw against Arsenal very recently, and if we take a look at their XG in the defeats to Man City and Liverpool, we can see that they were really tight games. Not to mention the fact that that City defeat was Maresca's very first league game in charge of Chelsea. So what's important to note at this point in the season is that the Stamford Bridge side have flown up the league table, and they do perhaps have more depth in key areas than the leading contenders for this season's title. And if Maresca's side can start to pick up serious points off the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City, they could be in for a shout of a surprise title challenge in the second half of the season.